Hello and welcome to Man Plays Game. Game Bakers made a game called Haven, and I played it.
Why am I always the one leading?
So I get to stare at your butt.
Haven is a visual novel with light RPG elements and a focus on exploration, and its story is one of love, rebellion, and consequence. You play as U and K, two lovers running from a totalitarian government. These crazy kids land on the unknown and uninhabited Source, a planet made up of floating islets that are connected by energy called flow, the main power source for the galaxy. U and K explore this beautiful fragmented world to forage for food and maintain their ship, the Nest. This all happens very early in the game, and as the story progresses, the mythos of this universe is revealed and the bonds between U and K grow stronger. Exploring Source takes a backseat to exploring these characters though. They are so well written and the acting so well done that getting to the next cutscene was usually my motivation to continue. U and K have a humor to them, but these are moments built on a real relationship. There are ups and downs, mistakes and triumphs, and you are with them every step of the way. There is a conflict in the story, but the emphasis is to enjoy the freedom of having to answer to no one and explore this beautiful world. And it is beautiful. The cel-shaded style of Haven is smooth and the colors are vibrant, ranging from neon to pastel. My decision to review this game was actually made just by watching the trailer. The 3D visuals are accompanied by animated 2D portraits of U and K whenever they speak. This helps capture even more emotion from the wonderful performances by Janine Haruni and Chris Lu Kum Hoi. They do a fantastic job of grounding the surreal aesthetic with believable chemistry and touchingly honest moments. Besides the looks and voice acting, the soundtrack by Danger completes the game. The funky synthwave tracks help keep excitement up in some parts, yet also keeps everything mellow. The gameplay has four main parts: exploration, crafting, combat, and building the relationship. As I said just a second ago, the game is elevated by the wonderful writing, art style, and soundtrack. This doesn't mean that the gameplay is terrible, I'm just saying it is the weakest part of the game, especially if you're playing solo. U and K fly around on the planet on hover boots, collecting flow and removing a corrupting substance called rust. Surfing the flow transports the characters to hard-to-reach areas or guides them to areas needing cleansing. The rust also corrupts the critters roaming the area, making them attack. Luckily, U and K know how to fight. In battle, U and K have the same four options: Blast, which is an energy attack; Impact, a physical attack; Shield, which takes all incoming damage, reduces it by half; and Pacify, which is used to cleanse a critter of rust. I should note, there is no killing in this game. The characters even maintain a vegan diet which fits who the characters are. The player selects a battle option by holding the direction of the attack on the D-pad or the buttons until the gauge fills. It's not turn-based combat, so being quick and noticing the enemy's movements is also a big part of the battle system. Winning is reliant on cooperation between the two characters. Enemies have unique requirements to defeat them, so timing your attacks and knowing which attack to use is key. If U and K get low on HP, you have to find a campsite or return to the nest to eat food or use healing items that you craft from the resources you gather. Playing solo, the combat is not that exciting, as it is quite easy, but playing co-op changed the dynamic greatly. Adding another human to the mix really amped up the intensity of the later battles. With more complicated enemies and no time to plan, communication is key, and I found that co-op made the game better overall. I played solo and co-op to see both sides, and I will say co-op is the definitive way to play. I played with my partner. She and I worked together for most of the game. With such great characters, we found ourselves lost in the story and dialogue options, which I will talk about next. The cool thing about the co-op is that everything outside of combat has to be agreed upon by both players to continue. Even crafting items is something that is designed to make both players feel like they are equal. Unfortunately, this doesn't really carry over into the exploration. One player leads while the other one is forced to follow. The follower can use flow to collect resources, but a split screen would have been pretty cool. Another thing to note is that because this is a romance, it would seem to limit the enjoyment for a co-op between friends. The entire game revolves around these two people in love, and that makes for some awkward moments when things start getting sexy. The meat and potatoes of Haven has to be the story. It is a visual novel after all. After meals, sleeping, and certain in-game activities, the audience is graced with a little scene of U and K talking, and this could be about their past, their current situation, or it could just be two people in love existing together and having a conversation. This was very well done and was integrated into the main gameplay seamlessly. During these scenes, the players could be prompted to choose different dialogues. When my partner and I were given a dialogue option, we liked to discuss which line best fit the characters as we understood them. And as we kept choosing, we felt like we owned more and more of who they were because we had input on their outlook. Sadly, it never affects the main plot, but it definitely made the story much more engaging. After enough of these scenes play out, the characters level up and their stats grow automatically. I would be remiss not to mention how horny U and K are for each other. This butt-obsessed erotica-reading duo have had sex all over the place. Thankfully, they don't outright show it, but the game is dripping with softcore moments that make me think that this game is not made for friends. At the end of the day, Haven is a great story told through a beautiful aesthetic and soundtrack that is highlighted by wonderfully written and acted characters. It really is a shame that the exploration became tedious, but more important, it's a shame this game is only worth playing co-op because it limits my ability to recommend this game to more folks. For that reason, I'm giving Haven a 3 out of 5, meaning if you have someone who will play with you, go for it. Just be warned about the awkward sex. So, what do you think about a game made for two? Let me know about it in the comments. Thanks for watching, and take care.